All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going under the hood of a complete human resource management system, or HRMS, called Hirely. What we're going to do is see exactly how a really complex piece of software maps out an entire employee's journey, from the moment they apply to their very last paycheck, by looking at its architecture.
I mean, it's a huge question, isn't it? Think about it. A career is messy. It's full of contracts, performance reviews, promotions, pay changes, time off. So how on earth do you build a system that can handle all of that complexity in a way that's structured and, doesn't break? Well, that's exactly what we're going to deconstruct today. So the most important thing to get here is that an HRMS isn't just one application. It's a whole ecosystem. It's built to be the one and only source of truth for everything about an employee. And this solves that classic HR nightmare of having data scattered across a dozen spreadsheets, random email chains, and who knows what else.
Every employee's story has to start somewhere. In the digital world, that beginning, that first handshake, is the applicant tracking system, or ATS. This is the front door of the HRMS, the part that manages the whole recruitment circus. Now, what's really cool here is how organized the path is for a candidate. It all starts at the public careers portal, careers.php. Then, once they apply using jobapply.php, they're not just thrown into a black hole. Nope, they get their very own dashboard, candidate_dashboard.php, to see exactly where they stand. It just creates a much more transparent and professional vibe right from the get-go. So while the candidate sees that simple dashboard, the recruiter gets to see this, a super powerful Kanban pipeline. This view, which is all handled by application_pipelineview.php, lets them visually track every single applicant. They can literally just drag and drop a candidate from screening over to interview. It makes the whole process incredibly slick and efficient. Okay, so once a candidate gets that offer and says yes, something really critical happens. They make the jump from the public-facing ATS into the secure internal heart of the whole system, the core HR module. And this just shows that transformation perfectly. On the left, you've got the candidate profile. It's all about potential, right? What they could do. But then on the right, you have the employee profile, which is all about the reality, contracts, how they get paid, when they show up. The system has to manage this huge shift in both data and identity. So how does that switch actually happen? Well, the magic is in this one file, hiredcandidates.php. This page is basically a list of everyone who's been marked as hired. And with just one click on Onboard, the system kicks off this whole process. It creates their employee record, their user account, their first contract. It's the digital bridge that turns a candidate into a colleague. And this right here is the result. This page, employeeprofile.php, becomes the absolute 360-degree view of that person's entire life at the company. Every little piece of data, from their first day to their latest review, it all lives right here. This is what solves that massive business headache of having vital info stuck in emails or spreadsheets or, actual filing cabinets. Now, we're heading into the engine room. Payroll is almost always the most complicated, most error-prone part of HR. So a modern HRMS needs a really powerful, flexible engine to handle it, and this is where the system's true genius really shines. To deal with all that complexity, Hirely uses a rule-based engine, which you set up in payrollrulesmanagement.php. This slide gives you a simple little example. You can define all these rules using basic if-then logic. What this means is that complex stuff like sales commissions or bonuses get calculated perfectly every single time. It prevents those costly payroll mistakes that can just absolutely destroy employee trust. And here's how that all comes together at the end of the month. First, the system grabs the fixed data from the employee's contract. Then it pulls in the real-time stuff from the attendance module, like overtime hours or any unpaid leave. After that, it runs all those dynamic rules we were just talking about. And finally, it mashes it all together to generate a perfect payslip. But an HRMS isn't just about managing people one by one. It's about understanding your entire workforce. Because all this data is in one place, this system can spit out these incredibly powerful insights that help the business make much smarter, data-driven decisions. This is a perfect example. Because all the payroll and employee info lives in one system, the main reports page, reports.php, can instantly create a chart just like this. So a manager can see, at a glance, how payroll costs are spread out. It turns all that raw data into actual strategic intelligence. And it goes way beyond just money. The system can analyze your entire recruitment pipeline, track employee turnover, figure out if your training programs are actually working, and even spot weird patterns in sick leave.
Every report gives you a different way to look at the health and performance of the whole organization.
Okay, finally. A truly great HRMS has to work for everybody in the company, not just the HR team. And you do that with a solid role-based architecture that gives every single user a customized portal with exactly the tools and info they need and nothing they don't.
So for your typical employee, their dashboard at employee_dashboard.php is their personal self-service hub. They can check their pay slips, look at their attendance, or put in a vacation request, all without sending a single email to HR. And that's a huge deal. It empowers employees with their own data, and it frees up the HR team from tons of boring admin tasks. Now, the HR manager's view, HR-dashboard.php, that's mission control for the company. From this one screen, they have the power to do it all. Manage recruitment, run the entire company payroll, and dive deep into any report they could possibly need. It's the strategic toolkit for managing the whole workforce. And then, at the very top, you've got the system admin. Their view is all about security and keeping the system healthy. From admin-dashboard.php, they hold the master keys. They manage who can do what in roles.php, they run critical backups, and, most importantly, they can see the full audit log in auditlog.php. That log tracks every single action taken in the system, which is absolutely crucial for security and accountability. So, when you boil it all down, a well-built HRMS like Hirely creates this seamless story. Every single step of an employee's time at the company is connected, from that first click on a job ad to the last line item on their final pay slip. It's all captured in one intelligent, unified ecosystem. Which kind of leaves us with this really interesting question. We've just seen how software can meticulously map out and manage all the paperwork of a career. But as these systems get even smarter, what does that mean for the future? How can this technology go beyond just managing people and start to truly help unlock their potential?